Yo, what is up, guys? It's Pedro here. So the Washington Commanders made a huge move. They have traded quarterback Sam Howell to the Seattle Seahawks for a couple of pick swaps. Going to break down the trade package, but also stay tuned for the end for a crazy quarterback theory that I have for what this means for the Washington Commanders' number 2 overall pick this year. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button and that notification bell as well so you never miss a video. Alrighty, so the Washington Commanders made a big move today, trading quarterback Sam Howell to the Seattle Seahawks. And I wasn't, this isn't a, big surprise at all, but also, I'm not going to say like I was expecting it to happen today or for the Seahawks to be, trading for him. Let's go over the package real quick, and I was in class while this happened, so I wanted to get back home and make a video for you guys instead of doing it on campus. Just easier to do it here. Seahawks received Sam Howell, a 4th round pick, which is number 2 or 102 overall, so a high 4th rounder, or an early 4th rounder, I should say, and then a 6th rounder, 179. I'm assuming as well that is a early pick as well. The Commanders get the the Seahawks 3rd round pick. I'm assuming that's theirs, number 78 overall. So that's a big difference right there. That's a 24 pick difference and a 5th round pick as well, number 152. That's a 27 pick difference. So they didn't gain any picks, but they gained draft position. So, I think this is good value for them to maybe trade up if they want in the draft, or maybe not even trade up in like that number 2 to 1 spot, but maybe we have 2 seconds and 3 thirds. Why not trade back into the first? Maybe do a second, a third, and a future third or something like that, and move up and get, I don't know the exact, points and everything, but move up and get a tackle in the first round. Would love that, because you have so many picks and so many guys that, you're not going to be able to have, you're going to have 1 first round pick, you're going to have 2 second round picks and 3 third round picks. That's 6 guys that are going to, ideally you want those guys starting, or at least, the first and second rounders for sure, but the third rounders, you want them to be either starting or being a rotational player right away. So it's going to be hard to have 6 guys doing that, especially after all the guys the Commanders signed. So maybe you use some of those picks and trade up for a second round pick, for a second first round pick and get a tackle or something like that. And that's something I could see them doing. But really, Sam Howell, I want to, it sucks because he's a good, first off, a really good guy and was a good teammate here, and I was rooting for him. And this season, I thought, the first half of the season, I was like, okay, this guy's going to be our starting quarterback next year for sure. And it didn't end up happening, and he had 1 or 2 bad games, and it was really 1 bad game, and after that, his confidence went really downhill. And I think that affected him the rest of the way, because he really, after that Seahawks game, he had that was his best game, or one of his best games of the season. Then the Cowboys game happens, and after that he really wasn't the same, and his confidence was down, and just plays he was making early on in the year he wasn't making, and was getting sacked less, but also started to make just poor decisions, was throwing a lot of interceptions. You look at the stats on the season. He had 21 interceptions. That's just way too many. He had 21 touchdowns, which that isn't bad. But the 20, that's not good. It's not good. It's tied 15th. But 21 interceptions is really, really rough. And it just was a really bad second half of the year for Howell. And not everything's on him, but it just kind of he was, and you can say all the excuses. The offensive line was bad. Eric Bieniemy was bad. Some of the pass catchers weren't great. And all of that, at least a little bit of it is true. But the thing is, he was dealing with that in the first half of the season, and he was balling out. Maybe not every game. The first game was a little rough. The second game was solid. The third game was terrible. The fourth game was good. Bears game was Falcons game was good. Giants game was bad. Eagles game was good. Patriots game was, pretty solid except for 1 play, and the Seahawks game was good. He was playing well, and then he just had a switch. That Giants game, I forgot. It wasn't there was a game between that. The Giants game just shook his confidence. 1 touchdown, 3 picks. no touchdowns, 1 pick, no touchdown, 1 pick, 1-1, 0-2, 1-2, 1-2. It's just bad. And I still think he can be good. If you're a Seahawks fan, like what to expect from him, and I guess there might be some Seahawks fans watching. He's first off really good guy, really good leader. He can run the football. You look at his rushing totals. He's not quick, but he has good vision. If you kind of get what I'm saying, like he'll be able to. He's a little shifty and he can make some guys miss. He's not gonna, outrun a bunch of guys. And he also sometimes takes too many hits and doesn't go down early enough. He fumbled one time doing that, and then a couple of times just taking big hits. But he's a good running quarterback and, got 5 rushing touchdowns on the year. Didn't fumble a ton too. He, for the most part, he knows how to take a hit, with the exception of a few fumbles that he had on the year. But he has a good arm, I would say, like good talent-wise. But again, some of the decisions are questionable. Takes too many sacks, and his deep ball, thought it was going to be good. One of the worst deep balls I've seen, from a quarterback here in DC in a long time. Just could not connect with these guys down the field with Terry. And you see Terry, or once Howell went down, or not down, they benched him. Brissett came in and threw 2 40-plus yard touchdowns, one 40-plus yard touchdown to Terry, and then one that was to the 1 yard line. And that just wasn't happening with Howell. And I think he still can develop. I still think he can be a solid quarterback in this league. At the minimum, a backup, but I think he can be better than that. I think he can be a low-tier to mid-tier starter if he develops properly. So I think this year, I think this year is going to be good for him to sit behind Geno, watch another, good quarterback play, and after that, potentially, get some playing time. Here's my crazy quarterback theory. So that was for the Seahawks fans. We already knew all that. Here's my quarterback theory. Commanders traded Sam because they're going to take Drake May and don't want to create a weird dynamic between the two of them. I'm sure all you guys know, but they were former teammates, and at UNC, it was Sam as the starter and Drake May as the backup. And they're friends. They're really good friends. It's not like they're going to beef or, right now they're friends. But the thing is, you bring in Drake May, it creates a little bit of a weird dynamic because he's going to be the starter and Sam's going to be the backup. And how are they going to react to those roles being reversed? And even Drake was, asked about it on Adam Schefter's podcast, and initially kind of was it wouldn't be amazing if I went to Washington because of that. And then he kind of pulled back on it a bit because obviously, you don't want to necessarily say that. So I don't think this is necessarily what happened, but I think it has more merit than the Marcus Mariota means we're taking Jaden Daniels theory that fans have, just because, we were interested in taking signing Sam Darnold as well. So I think that one doesn't really matter. This could, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But I wish Sam Howell nothing but the best. Really good guy. Met him at training camp, took a picture with me. My brother met him too at, I can't remember where, some golfing store, but met him. It was, he was nice as well. So just a really nice guy, and I'm rooting for him. I hope he has a great he's going to have a long career, no doubt. He's going to get a second contract. So I'm not worried about that, but I'm rooting for him to be a starter in this league because I think that can happen with some development, and he just got to fix up some things. His confidence has to go up as well. I think a big thing for him is going to have to be if Geno does go down, and hopefully it doesn't happen, hopefully he doesn't get hurt, knock on wood, but if he does, then maybe Sam goes in there, late game situation, wins the game for them. He needs that. He needs that to bring his confidence up, because that's the biggest thing. If I'm a Seahawks fan, that I would be paying attention to, because I think that was the biggest thing that hurt him this past year, was his confidence in the second half of the year. He just was not remotely the same player this second half. So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.